Good afternoon, folks. This is Uncle Randy here again. Today I'm going to show you how to make a delicious chicken soup. So easy to make. People say they can't cook. Well, I'm telling you, you can cook. It is so easy, it's not even funny. This chicken soup is, I have a couple of really secret things in there that I put in there that I'm going to share with you, and you're not going to believe how good it makes your soup. I've got all my ingredients laying here now. It's very easy to make, very cheap to make, and it is so delicious you're not going to believe it. First of all, I'm going to take some warm water, put about, I don't know, 4 cups of water in my bowl, in my pot. I'm going to put it on the stove to boil. And then, the second thing I'm going to do is take my chicken. Now these are just basically chicken thighs. You buy them at any grocery store, they're real cheap. I think the 3 of those were like $3. Put them in there. These ones have some kind of barbecue sauce on them, and I don't know why, but I guess barbecue chicken, but I'll just put them in there. There's no reason. You can use just plain chicken. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Now, the reason why I put it in whole like that, if you take the chicken and cut it off the bone first, the meat shrinks and it makes it tough. So if you leave it on the bone, cook it, and after it's cooked, take it out, cut it off the bone, the meat off the bone, put it back in, you're not going to believe how nice and tender it is. Then, first thing we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to peel an onion. People always complain, I mean, they give them tears, they're hard to peel, you waste half of the onion when you peel it. Well, basically what you do, you take it and you run it under the water for a little bit, wash it off, and if you do that, you won't have any tears in your eyes. Wipe the water off it, cut the end off, like this, and then just take your knife like this and kind of get through the first layer of the onion. Peel it off like this, and that'll bring the husk off, and the good part of the onion, the part that you want, is here. Now, another little secret. You don't want to waste this. If you're a budget-minded person, you don't want to waste that bit of onion. So what you do is, after you get that first layer off, you just take the husk off. See that? How nice and easy that was? And it didn't, that's how much onion you would have thrown away. Not that that's a lot, but if you're making soup, you want everything in there you can get. So, we'll clean our mess up as we go. Huh? Last time I was here, cooked for my niece, I made a big mess and she was mad at me. She liked the food, but she was mad at the mess. So you just cut the onion in 2, cut it as big or as small as you want. I like mine a little bit bigger. And I love onions, so I like lots of onions in mine. Now there's a couple of other secrets I'm going to show you about making a delicious chicken stew. Then, wash off your piece of celery. I like celery in mine. Now, remember, in a chicken stew, you can put anything in there you want. A soup is a soup. There's nothing to say you can't put anything you want. I put radishes, you name it, in mine. So I just cut my celery up like this. Cut it in little chunks. Depends on how big you want them. I don't really care because I'll eat it anyway. And my niece will eat it anyway because she loves my soup. Just cut them up like that. And you got your celery. Now, I had this tomato last night for dinner. And I didn't eat it all, and I left it on the counter and it kind of shriveled up a little bit. So, guess what? Let's go into my soup. I don't waste any food unless I have to. There's a study out that says most households waste up to at least 60% of the food that they buy. Well, I'm not like that because I save it and eat it. Here's your potato. Just wash it off a little bit. I don't peel my potatoes. I don't peel my carrots, nothing. I like the peel. I love the taste of the peel. So basically all you do is just cut it in 4 pieces. Cut it up in chunks like this, however big you want. And it's ready to go in the soup. Now this soup takes about 15 to 20 minutes at maximum. That's even getting all the vegetables ready. One other thing I do, I like peas and carrots. Now, I noticed in my niece's refrigerator, she's got frozen peas and carrots were just as good as fresh ones. If you like fresh, put fresh. If you don't want to, and you have frozen peas and carrots, they're cheap. They're about $2 a bag. So I'll just put a little bit out here. I like peas and carrots in my soup. And that's basically most of the ingredients in your soup is right there. And you're not going to believe how good it is once I show you my little secret. So we have our chicken cooking. We're going to let it cook for about 10 minutes before we put any of the other ingredients. Now, one thing I do, I wait until about 5 to 8 minutes before the soup is going to be done to put my potatoes in. The reason being, I don't like my potatoes too mushy. Now, there's one other thing that we're going to put in the soup today, and that is some noodles. Now, another thing I do with the noodles, if you're not going to eat your soup all right away, if you leave these in the pot with the soup, they'll absorb all the water and they'll be really, really mushy. So what I do is I use just fine egg noodles or any kind of egg noodles. I cook them about 3/4 first, and then when my soup's ready, I just put it in the bowl of soup that I'm eating. That way there I don't have mushy noodles. Okay, we'll just wait for our chicken to cook. We'll just wait for our chicken to cook. I almost forgot. I looked in my niece's refrigerator, and she has a turnip in there. I love turnip in chicken soup. Sorry, I forgot all about it. So basically all you do with the turnip, you just cut it off. I do peel my turnips because the skin on the outside of the turnips is quite tough. I have eaten it and it's kind of strong, so I like turnip, but not the peel. So we'll just peel the turnip. And be careful when you're peeling this. If you're using a knife, you cut your finger pretty easy. And then we'll just cut it up just like a potato. Now, the thing about the turnip takes a little bit longer. So we'll cut it up and put it in the soup right away. So it doesn't matter what size you make, big or small, depending on your own personal taste. It's going to taste the same. It's just some people like it bigger, some people like it small. I'm going to put that in my soup right now with my chicken, because it takes a little bit longer for turnip to cook. You can use rutabaga or turnip, either one. Now, my niece doesn't have that fancy dishes, so I don't think her dishes in her whole cupboard cost $100. She spends her money on her fingernails and her hair. So, next thing we're going to do is we're going to let our chicken cook a little bit longer, and then we're going to take it out and cut the meat off of the bone. In the meantime, we're going to put all of our ingredients in there except our potatoes. Now, the other thing that comes to mind when I'm cooking my soup, people ask me, what kind of chicken broth do you use? Well, I basically use the chicken broth that's made from the chicken I put in my soup. Going and buying chicken broth is utterly ridiculous as far as I can see. All it is just someone else doing a little bit of the work for you, where you're going to have the same thing anyway, and you know exactly what's in it. There's no salt added, there's nothing added. It's delicious. You won't have to worry about the broth at all. One of the other things about making chicken soup, you can make it as thick or as much broth in there as you want, or as much water as you want. I like mine kind of not a stew, but not a soup, so that's kind of the way I make mine. The other thing is, making a chicken stew today, on the leftover stew that you have or soup that you have, is unbelievably delicious on the second day as a leftover. Another thing, you have to be really careful when you're making this soup, because you can have a tendency to make too much. So if you're just making it for yourself or 2 people, be very careful about how many ingredients you put in, how much you put in. Usually I put a couple of chicken thighs in. Chicken thighs are the best flavor as far as I'm concerned, or chicken legs. They make really good soup, good flavor. I don't really use too much chicken breast, because it just, well, it's breast. It just doesn't have the flavor that the thighs and legs have. Okay, our soup's been cooking for about 10 minutes now. I'm going to take the chicken out, cut it off the bone, and I'm going to put the rest of our ingredients in. Here's what the chicken looks like. Like I say, this just had some kind of barbecue sauce or something on it, but I don't care. It works good for me. So, I'm going to put everything in there. I'm going to put everything in except my potatoes. Like I said before, I don't like the potatoes in there because they get too soft. Now, put that on the stove, let it cook some more. Take our chicken and just basically cut it up the bone. Cut it up in whatever size chunks you want. Very easy. And see, it's not quite cooked to the bone yet, which is good. Doesn't matter whether it is or whether it isn't, because I'm going to put the bones back in. I always do. Bones have lots of good flavor. Not complicated at all to make. Not complicated, just cut it up a little bit. Like I said, if you like homemade food, this is one of the easiest, cheapest, most delicious meals you can have in a hurry for less than half an hour. And probably that whole soup doesn't cost me, well, with the chicken and everything, it probably doesn't cost $5 or $6. You'll see. So now I'll just put this soup, put the chicken in my soup. Now the other thing you have to watch for, like I said, if you put too many ingredients in there, you're going to have to put a little bit more water in your soup. I think mine's okay. Yeah, mine's okay for now. I got the peas and carrots in there. Like I said, I absolutely love peas and carrots, so I'm going to put a few more in there. Just a few more, not too many. I put maybe half a cup more of peas and carrots in. Now we're going to let that cook for about 5 minutes before we're ready to put our potatoes in. Now remember when I said you have to be careful not to put too many ingredients in? Well, guess what? I put too many ingredients in. I got a big soup, but that's okay. We'll eat it. But this is what it looks like. Doesn't that look delicious? Now you wait for about 5 more minutes. 5 to 7 minutes for your potatoes to cook. And we'll have an absolutely delicious meal. But there's one more secret thing that we're going to put in the soup right now, and I'm going to show you what it is. If you look in your refrigerator and you have a cheese slice or you have a chunk of cheese, cheddar or Swiss, it really doesn't matter, put that in your soup and you will not believe how good it is. All you do is just put it in and it will melt and it will be the best. It will give you the best flavor of a soup you ever had. I guarantee it. That is the secret. Now, one thing I did forget so far that I haven't put in there is a little bit of salt. Not too much. You have to be very careful with the salt. I put in maybe half a teaspoon to begin with, because it's very, very easy to put too much salt in this. And I also put in a little bit of pepper. Now I don't have too much fancy peppers or fancy salts or anything, so I put maybe a quarter teaspoon of pepper. And you have to be careful with the pepper too, because put too much pepper in, it'll be too peppery. Now we just turn that down, let it simmer a little bit, let our potatoes cook. And here's what it looks like when it cooks. You see what the cheese did? Look. See the nice creamy broth? And I can tell you right now, you'll never buy another can of broth, chicken broth, again in your life. Now you don't have to use chicken. You can use pork, you can use beef, you can use fish, you can use anything to make this soup, and it is all good. But the secret is the slice of cheese or the piece of cheese. Look how delicious that looks. Okay folks, here's my noodles I just put in my soup. We'll stir it around a little bit, wait for those noodles to cook. See how good it looks? We'll let those noodles cook, and then we'll have the rest of it. Our soup is cooked. See what it looks like? The potatoes are cooked. Like I said, I like mine a little bit thicker, but you can do anything you want. Look how good that looks. Doesn't that look delicious? And like I said, it's very easy to make. It takes less than a half an hour. Let me grab a bowl. Put some in a bowl. I'm gonna eat the bone and everything in mine because I like the bone. It's lots of flavor. Take the broth. See how nice the cheese broth makes it look? See? Doesn't that look delicious? I can guarantee you'll love this. If you like chicken soup, you'll love this recipe. Thank you very much. The other thing I do with mine is I put a little bit of sriracha sauce in my soup. I just like the sauce itself. Gives a little, I like my soup a little bit spicy. And that's it. That's how quick it is. Less than a half an hour. A few ingredients that most everybody has in their fridge. And you've got a delicious chicken soup for everyone. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Thank you. From Uncle Randy.